Hi, and welcome to this edition of the Insurance Experts. It's my pleasure to have Sivea Key on the line. Sivea is a long-term care insurance specialist, and I wanted her to share with you a client story today. Sivea, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Mark. I love watching your show, and it's good to be here with you today.
I appreciate that so much. So tell us a little bit at first about how you got into the long-term care planning space, and I know you also work with a wealth manager in his office.
I do. I've taken over the role of senior insurance planner at Solid Wealth Advisors. Um, I started off in Medicare, and although I was dealing with a lot of Medicare issues, of course, helping people get their health care covered, I ran into situations where folks needed long-term care, or their partners needed long-term care, and I saw a lot of suffering out there, as well as some successful solutions. So I wanted to move into long-term care insurance and be part of the solution.
That's awesome. How you can help more people. That's a great mentality. So first of all, tell us a little bit about this client that you had worked with. What was her backstory?
So this woman came to me because her daughter had asked her to look into long-term care insurance. Her daughter was such a brilliant young lady that she'd ended up in a very high-powered 60, 70-hour a week job, as we're all familiar with if we have intelligent children. We're watching their careers. Oh my gosh. So she and her mom decided together that they should get some long-term care coverage for mom and just make sure that she was well cared for if she needed care.
Okay, that's awesome. And I know you had talked to me about your personal experience too. And you have long-term care in your family. You want to tell us a little bit about that too?
That I do. Alzheimer's in our family. And it's hit two of my relatives, an aunt and an uncle. My aunt's situation was particularly difficult because it was a sudden onset and the family wasn't prepared. They were not expecting any kind of problems, of course, and they didn't have long-term care insurance. Fortunately, they lived close together and they were able to help each other out, but it was a very difficult, stressful time. Both of my cousins had young children and both parents worked in both families. And to this day, there's still some pain and some resentment left over from the strain of trying to take care of mom. So it's important to me that folks at least get the opportunity to consider long-term care insurance.
And I know, coming back to your client here, mother, daughter, what was kind of the backstory of the mom here in your client's situation?
So the mom was a teacher, and during her career, she purchased some long-term care insurance, but hectic as teaching can be, she'd somehow not managed to keep the payments up and lost her policy. When she realized what had happened, she tried to reinstate it and was unable to. So now at age 62, she ends up going back to teaching to help supplement her income. She's very concerned about making sure the policy's paid, and she knows she's going to have only her teacher's pension when she retires. So a tighter income when she retires, some excess funds right now, and a definite need for long-term care insurance.
Interesting. So what came to mind when you heard about kind of her financial situation as a solution for her?
So at first we explored what it would cost for her to just buy traditional long-term care insurance, because of course that's going to give her the most benefits for her premium dollars. We got that far, and when we were in the comfort realm for her for a benefit, we were well outside her comfort level for a premium she could pay in retirement.
Okay, so in terms of her ongoing pay-as-you-go income, she didn't have much, but you mentioned she had some other resources. Did she have assets she could draw into this?
Yeah, we did a little bit of research, and she shared with me that she had an annuity that was in a 403B, so it was tax deferred. Obviously, if she tried to take the money out all at once, she'd have a big tax hit for income tax. And yet, it was a source of funds that she was meaning to roll over anyway. It was not making much money. It was not something she was counting on for income. It was her emergency money, one portion of it. And so we decided to look at a solution where we could combine this annuity money with a traditional long-term care insurance. So in the long run, she'd have a manageable premium, but still have benefits at a level that made her feel comfortable.
Okay, that's cool. So there's a solution here that's kind of packaged vehicle, if you will, to be able to move that money over. And because you work in a financial planning firm, this is probably second nature to you to think of these types of things. So what was the solution that you ended up doing to move that money over?
Well, to make everything as simple and automated as possible, we opted to go with a hybrid solution that allowed her to roll her tax qualified money over to an internally to the long-term insurance carrier, and they would then make sure that over time it paid for a hybrid plan for her. That hybrid plan also protected the annuity money she was putting into it by allowing her, in a dire emergency, she could withdraw the money as a cash benefit, or in the need of long-term care insurance, she'd get double that amount of money at least for coverage. And if she never used it, her family would get the tax-free death benefit.
Now, an interesting thing is this particular case, I know you wanted to supplement that with more long-term care coverage. What did you end up doing to solve that particular need?
So at this point, we were able to cover about half the benefit that she was interested in having. So we went back to traditional long-term care insurance and calculated how much we would need to buy in order to bring her up to the benefit level she was comfortable with. And it turned out we found a policy that was so well priced, she was easily able to afford it in retirement, and actually is considering increasing that policy and adding more benefits.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of people out there and they say, oh, you have to do hybrid or you have to do traditional. Well, in this case, the client actually did both. And that's the key, is they're different for different situations. So it's great that you were able to find her a solution that really custom fit her.
Yeah, it's so important for us as professionals to really listen to our clients and make sure that what we're suggesting fits their budgets and what helps them sleep at night and the needs they have based on their family.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show today, Sivea, and I hope to have you on future episodes. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, Mark. I hope to be back too.